Welcome to The Explainer. Have you ever caught yourself wondering why incredibly successful, highly competent adults can suddenly regress into anxious teenagers the second they get around certain authority figures? It's a profound and, frankly, a pretty uncomfortable psychological reality. Today, we're exploring the hidden architecture of internal authority. We are going to dive straight into the groundbreaking frameworks of Carl Jung to figure out exactly why we outsource our sense of self and, more importantly, how we can actually take it back. So picture this. You're at work, right? Just having a perfectly normal day, and your boss makes a slightly dismissive comment. Or maybe you're at a holiday dinner, and a parent gives you that one specific look of disappointment. Instantly, your logic just evaporates. Why do you suddenly feel like a frightened child? You tell yourself you're overreacting, but your nervous system absolutely does not care. It moves right in and just starts running the show.
It is honestly such an agonizing contrast. On one hand, you have the grown adult. You've got a career, a home, you've literally built a life with your own hands. You are highly capable. But then, in a split second, you're reduced to the frightened child. Your entire mood, your whole sense of who you are, gets handed over to a ghost from your past. You know better, yet your brain reacts to an entirely different reality.
Section 1. The Ghost from Your Past. Diagnosing the Architecture. Okay, to wrap our heads around this, we really need to stop framing this emotional reaction as some kind of personal failure. We need to view it as a clinical diagnosis. Because when this regression happens, we usually turn to false solutions, don't we? We tell ourselves to just be more confident, or we try to prove our worth through just one more promotion. We try to logic our way out of it to dismiss the feeling. But listen, this isn't a lack of success. It's actually a fundamental flaw in your current psychological architecture. Carl Jung introduces this absolutely fascinating concept here, the outside-in existence. He argued that a lot of us are unconsciously still trying to impress our parents. Our center of gravity, like our core sense of worth, lives out there, entirely in external approval. But the real goal of psychological development, that's transitioning to an inside-out existence. That is where your center is grounded firmly within your own substance, totally unshaken by whether someone else is pleased with you or not. Section 2. The Parental Imago. The template of authority. To really make sense of these invisible triggers, we have to look at the mechanism that's keeping you stuck. Jung called this the parental imago. The absolute crucial thing to grasp here is that you aren't actually dealing with your parents as they are today. The parental imago is a living psychic structure. It's an emotional template formed in early childhood that you carry right into the boardroom and into your adult friendships. Think of it like this. A child who never received consistent approval grows up and unconsciously searches for it in bosses or partners who carry the exact same emotional signature. And here is the wild trick your brain plays on you. It arrives as objective reality. When your manager criticizes you, that painful feeling doesn't come with a helpful little warning label that says, "Hey, just a heads up, this is actually your father's voice from 20 years ago." No way. It feels completely 100% present. You genuinely believe you're reacting to a work problem when you are actually reacting to a decades-old wound. As Jung pointed out, if you don't examine these depths, you aren't a free agent. You're just being directed by invisible forces.
Section 3. The trap of the persona. Becoming the mask.
Now, this lack of freedom leads us right into a second layer of the trap, where our survival mechanisms basically become a psychological prison. Enter the persona. This is your social mask, and it was built specifically to earn the conditional approval that felt missing when you were young. You became the competent professional or the fixer, because historically, those were the traits the adults around you rewarded. For a kid, that was a brilliant survival strategy. But listen, there is a deadly difference between wearing a mask and becoming the mask. Wearing a mask is just a temporary role you perform, but at some point you moved inside the mask. You stopped being the person wearing it and literally became the role itself. And that is exactly why a simple criticism from a boss feels like total annihilation. A crack in the mask doesn't just feel like a bad day, it feels like a structural collapse of your entire identity. The tragic irony of this trap is captured so perfectly in the source text. You feel a profound, nameless loneliness because none of them actually know you. You might be surrounded by people who applaud your performance, people who absolutely love the reliable professional you present to them. But the isolation is deafening because they only know the mask. The real you is hidden away, just starving for authentic connection. Section 4. The Path of Individuation. The Treatment Protocol. So what's the fix? How do we actually dismantle this architecture and take our power back? Well, Jung called the solution individuation. It's the slow, deeply uncomfortable confrontation and integration of the parts of yourself you disowned, what Jung called your shadow. And it's fascinating because Jung is not offering some bubbly, quick-fix self-improvement hack here. He's demanding a deep, unflinching confrontation with the parts of yourself you've been desperately hiding just to keep authority figures happy. Okay, so what does this actually look like in the real world? The next time you feel that desperate, clawing urge to impress an authority figure, try this protocol. Step 1, withdraw. Just stop the automatic reaction. Step 2, ask yourself, what quality am I borrowing from their image right now? Are you seeking their permission to be successful? Recognize that you're just borrowing that quality because you haven't built it internally yet. And step 3, and this is for sure the absolute hardest part, sit with the discomfort of their disapproval. Just sit with it. Which brings us to, honestly, an incredibly weighty realization. The hardest truth here is that they didn't create the wound. Your psyche's reaction to them did. Your parents, your boss, your partner, they actually cannot heal this original wound for you. Reclaiming your center is not about magically getting them to finally say they're proud of you. It's about recognizing that the reaction belongs entirely to your own psyche. And that right there is the ultimate goal of individuation. Reclaiming your center means becoming a person who can be rejected without being completely destroyed. It means you stop contorting yourself into a pretzel, trying to fix someone else's disapproval. It means abandoning that persistent, nagging lie of not yet, the idea that you're going to finally become real once you've achieved just a little bit more. The pen is finally in your hand, and you are literally the only one who can write a life that belongs to you. So I want to leave you with this final, somewhat provocative thought. Did you recognize your own parental imago while we were going through these concepts? Really think about it. Leave a comment below with the word solid if this explainer hit home for you, and tell me about a moment you realized you were performing for an audience that wasn't even in the room. Thank you so much for joining me on The Explainer. Keep learning, keep confronting that shadow, and I will see you in the next one.